Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So today's I'm gonna do a top 3 pens that I really like or really enjoy to use in my planners and bullet journal. So these pens aren't ranked like 1, 2, 3. It's just at the top 3 pens that I use on a daily basis. So now I'm going to introduce you to the 3 pens that I use on a daily basis: the Uniball Signo DX in 0.38, the Sharpie S-Gel in 0.5, and then the Pentel Clena in 0.5 and 0.3. So here is the Uniball Signo DX pen. You see the point is pretty thin. I do enjoy this pen a lot. I've been using this for about a year and a half, and it has been my favorite pen to use. Next we have up our Pentel Clena in 0.3 and 0.5. I do buy the refills on Amazon. They finally have 0.3s on Amazon in Canada, so I've been using that. So I do use the 0.5 and 0.3. Depends on which one I want when I'm writing thin or thicker. I do label them so you can see that this is 0.5 and 0.3, so I know which pen it is. And now on the Sharpie S-Gel, this is the current new buy in 0.5, and it has been my favorite to write with. Smooth and the ink flows. So now I'll be using a notepad to just show you guys how I write with them and how it looks thick and thin. So first I'm gonna be using the Pentel Clena in 0.3, and I'm just gonna use my name, Christine, to write it out, and then you'll see how it looks. So you're here to see me writing my name, and then right away I'm gonna smudge it with my hands, run over the pen with my hands, and as you can see, it does not smudge at all. As you can see, I ran over my finger over the my name really quick after I wrote my name, and then it does not smudge at all. This one I really enjoy. So I'm gonna be using the Tombow, this gray, and then the Ecoline brush pen in 7-8 to run over it later. But let me first write all my name out using all the pens first. So I'm gonna use the Pentel Clena in 0.5. You see the point is different right here, a little bit thinner than obviously. Using the Pentel Clena in 0.5, I write my name out, and then right away I'm gonna run my hand through the name. You'll see that it does smudge a teensy tiny bit, but see the little smudge on the left side, the C, it's just a little bit, but it's fine because it is a thicker point, so I think it will smudge more. But this pen is one of my favorites, and I'm left-handed, so it's pretty good for left-handed people. So now we're on to that Sharpie S-Gel in 0.5. I'm gonna write my name again and then smudge it, run my hand through the name. And this does not smudge at all, really nice. So this 0.5 Sharpie S-Gel pen, it's really good for writing. It is thicker on a thicker side, but I do like the thicker side sometimes. Depends on what kind of pens I want to use that day. As you can see here, I keep running my fingers through the name and the whole thing. It does not smudge. I really enjoy this S-Gel pen, for real. And now our next Uniball Signo DX in 0.38, and then I'm gonna write my name and then smudge my hand through it. This does smudge, so you do gotta leave it for a couple of seconds. So as you can see, the Uniball Signo DX pen does smudge, so you gotta leave it for a couple of seconds, and then you can probably run over your finger through it. So here is how all the pens look. So the Pentel Clena in 0.3 and 0.5, the Sharpie S-Gel, and then the Uniball Signo DX in 0.38. So of course the 0.5 are thicker than the 0.3 and 0.38, so it depends on what kind of thickness or thinness you guys want for your points. I do enjoy both points. And then here is a refill in 0.3 in black I got on Amazon. So I just refill my Pentel Clena barrels with those new inks refills. And also I'm showing you guys the 0.5. They do come around maybe 10 per pack or 12 per pack, I don't really remember, but they do come on Amazon. So now we have the Sharpie S-Gel. I also bought this on Amazon. I think it came in 10 or 12 packs, and then it comes with that little ball thing, so you obviously know this hasn't been used yet. So here you can see the four pens that I'm using currently. So even though Pentel has 2 pens in 0.3, 0.5, so now I'm going to use the Ecoline brush pen and to highlight over it right away after I finish writing. So this, I guess it kind of smudges a little bit, but not as much as I expected it to smudge, so it's not that bad. For the 0.5 Pentel Clena, for sure it does smudge a little bit, so if you do leave it for a couple of seconds, then you can use a highlight to highlight them. So which is not bad. After a couple seconds, you should be able to highlight the 0.5 Pentel Clena. So you can see that there's a little bit smudge in here, but it's not that bad. Remember, just to leave it an extra couple of seconds, and then you should be good. So here you see a close-up of it, the eye, the dot smudging a little bit, but other than that, it's pretty decent. So now we have the Sharpie S-Gel. This pen, I must say, was pretty good with the highlight. It did not smudge at all. Really good. Pretty crazy. I was pretty like, oh wow, that it did not smudge at all for a 0.5. Which is a good one, so I do recommend you can highlight this right away. So now we have the Uniball Signo DX. This does smudge a little tiny bit, but if you do leave it for a couple of seconds, you should be able to highlight it. It didn't smudge as much as I thought it would, but it's not bad. So if you give it a little bit, couple seconds, you'll be able to highlight it without it smudging, which is pretty decent too. So that was the Ecoline brush pen. This is more like a water-based pen, I think. So it does leak through the page, so you shouldn't use it on a nicer pieces of paper when you use this brush pen, but I don't, so I don't really care much about it. Now we are gonna use the Tombow brush pen in this color gray. I'm not sure what color this is because the number is smudged off. So now I'm just gonna do the same thing again, writing my name and then running the brush pen over my name. So running the Tombow brush pen over the Pentel 0.3, it did not smudge at all, which is nice, I guess, because the Ecoline is more like a water-based brush pen, so it does spread more of the ink, but whereas the Tombow, it did not that much. So it turned out pretty well. So now we're on to 0.5 Pentel. This smudged a tiny bit. Again, I expected that since it is a thicker point, but it's not that bad. You can leave it for a couple of seconds again, and then you should be able to run your highlight brush pen or something on top of it, and then it should not smudge. Now we have our Sharpie S-Gel pen, as the same as the Ecoline brush pen. This did not smudge either. Maybe just a little bit on top of the H, but I'm not sure because it was my writing or whatever. But it does look really good. It does not have that, like the Uniball Signo, that has that little brown ink spread around. So now on to the 0.38 Uniball Signo DX pen. Again, it does smudge a little bit, but then as I said earlier, that if you do leave a couple seconds before you highlight stuff, you should be able to not see that smudge at all, or just a tiny bit of a smudge, which is not that bad either. So the hair, we have all of it all laid out. So the first set is just the pen, and I run my finger through it, and then the second one is Ecoline brush pen. The third one is a Tombow brush pen. Everything turned out pretty well. I don't mind the smudging if I have to wait for a couple seconds, but I do like the Sharpie S-Gel. Does not smudge that much, especially for the running my fingers through it, or the highlighter for the Ecoline. Everything turned out pretty well. So these are my favorite pens that I'm currently using. So they aren't ranked top 1, 2, 3. It's just what I like about them, and the thickness, the thinness, and when I highlight, or because I'm left-handed and it doesn't smudge when I write. So now I'm just going to show you what I write when I write in my planner. So I'm going to show you guys in the pocket planner how I use these pens. You can write thin or thick, and these boxes aren't that small or that big, so you can still use a 0.5 pen to write in. And here I'll show you guys on screen. Now I'm gonna be using the pens again, but I'm gonna write in a tiny writing. So see, in 0.5 I'll still be able to write the tiny writing. Of course, it does look more tighter and stuff, but then you are still able to write tiny using these 0.5 pens. And of course, the 0.3s are easier to write smaller because they're thinner tip, but other than that, they're all pretty good. So that's all for my top 3 pens that I enjoy writing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next week. Bye everyone.